has Aaron Rodgers called out individuals about stuff that doesn't pertain to football? Anything he has to say, it's about football. And even when he has said something, he's made generic statements about young guys, got to get it together, et cetera, et cetera. There might have been a slew of them or what have you. This priority, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm the quarterback for this team. I'm the captain of this ship. Do your job. We ain't here to have Thanksgiving dinner together and exchange Christmas gifts. We're here to get the job done. And the bottom line is somebody like Jordy Nelson, who benefited from that level of excellence for many years. And by the way, helped contribute to it because Jordy Nelson was his most reliable weapon. The fact of the matter is he's more qualified than anybody to say what he says. Aaron Rodgers ain't for everybody, but he's phenomenal. And the complaints about him are asinine, plain and simple.
I would say that Aaron Rodgers gives one the feeling that if you cut open his head, you don't find a football inside. Tom Brady, Andrew Luck, the guys that everyone loves, no one wants to say anything bad about, you get the feeling, like cut up, all they think about is football all the time, and Aaron Rodgers comes across as more of a Renaissance man, for lack of a better term. But I want to read something that Jermichael Finley said. He's one of the guys who they go to, one of the three guys they go to constantly for these quotes about Rodgers, right? He's got a trust issue. For whatever reason, I don't know. He's a guy that has to see you work on the field and throw the ball to you and hope you run the right route. He goes off football. He doesn't go off personality when he first meets you. You've got to gain his trust through the game. This is a criticism of Aaron Rodgers. It's crazy to say, but I played with the guy for 6-7 years, and I had to gain my trust by running the right routes and knowing the plays. It's crazy. Will, I know that you have a theological bent and you've studied, right? I think what we're dealing here with, what Jermichael Finley's talking about, is there's a difference between, to me, faith and a leap of faith. You know, you can have faith in someone. For example, LeBron James. I have faith that LeBron James is going to take the Lakers to the playoffs, even though there's a tiny percentage chance that he does, because I've seen him do it so many times, right? And often faith is taught that way. You should have faith because there's good reason to, in fact. And that's different between that and a leap of faith. And what it sounds like the people who criticize Aaron Rodgers are really saying is, take a leap of faith with me. I mean, go off my personality. Don't watch me work. Don't watch me run routes. It's crazy. This guy wanted to see that he could trust me before he trusted me. He wouldn't just take that leap of faith. Okay, that's Rodgers' personality. He's show me that I can trust you. Maybe they want someone more. Maybe Andrew Luck is more the type of guy, or someone like that's more the type of guy where I'm going to think the best of you at first, and you're going to have to prove me wrong. And maybe that rubs people the wrong way because Rodgers is so excellent that you have to show that you can stay on his level. Who knows? But it seems to me very strange that that is a criticism of Aaron Rodgers.
Well, what we're talking about is personality to some extent. What we're talking about is leadership. We're talking about the way your personality affects those others around you. And Stephen A., you can be great. You can be acknowledged as one of the best quarterbacks of this generation. You can be acknowledged as a bad man, forgive the impression.
He's a bad man.
You can be acknowledged as all of that.
He's a bad man.
Unfortunately, Stephen A., this is an individual sport. If you're Tiger Woods, maybe you can walk around like that and not have to worry about how it impacts those others around you. In fact, it might help, by intimidating everyone else around you. But football is a team sport. Football requires that the way you lead and the personality you have lifts up others around you. We've talked about this the last several days when it comes to Ben Roethlisberger. You have acknowledged the role of Ben Roethlisberger's leadership and its effect on the Pittsburgh Steelers. But when it comes to your theological devotion to Aaron Rodgers, both of you willingly ignore the evidence before you. You talk about guys being jealous or not up to his par. And with all due respect to Jordy Nelson's math, pick and choose who you choose to ignore. It's not just 3. It's 4. And I haven't heard the hundreds.
Well, the hundreds who aren't saying the bad things about him, Will. No one unites everybody they've ever played with.
That's an interesting point, though, because, Will, you said, like Ben separates himself from the roster, right? That's been the criticism, and he's not one of the guys in the locker room. Isn't this the same thing we're talking about with Aaron Rodgers?
And the conversation we had when it came to Ben is why are none of his teammates stepping up to defend Ben?
Jordy Nelson just defended Aaron Rodgers.
When it comes to, okay, so we have one that's defended Aaron Rodgers. You're right. I'm just pointing out that it's not the hundreds.
By the way, he's also, do you think it's coincidental?
And Kevin Colbert defended Ben.
Do you think it's coincidental that Jordy Nelson, the best player that's played on those teams, defends Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know that it's coincidental,
but
I think
Pro Bowl caliber player.
I want to put this to you, Stephen A., because I think this is the crux of the issue, because this is the guy I'm getting at that we're leaving out. This is Jeff Janis, a receiver that played with him for quite some time and was on a podcast, because I think Jeff Janis gets to the issue here. He says, and I'm not going to try to read the whole quote, it's a little long. Okay. I think positive reinforcement works a lot better than negative. It can tear you down and break you as a player. You take a really good player and you just keep doing that stuff to them, and he's going to start being one of those guys you can't count on. But it's one of those things you really can't change it because it's who Aaron is. In other words, Aaron leads from negativity.
Can I respond?
Please.
Who's this guy again?
Oh,
Jeff Janis.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy?
You might remember he caught one of the Hail Mary touchdowns from
Jeff
Aaron Rodgers.
Janis,
He probably
right?
came up for his take and crowed about it.
I gotta take his words. Oh my Lord, it's such a valuable synopsis. You know, Will Cain, you and I both have 1-800-Flowers promoting our radio shows. They sponsor our radio shows. You know, I need to give them a call and to send you some because of the. Let me make sure I send a box of tissue with you too. I mean, who cares? Who gives a damn what he says? The fact of the matter is this: when you've got somebody as great as Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback position is considered the most important. He is considered the creme de la creme, him along with Tom Brady and Drew Brees. He's that special. And if he is not satisfied with the job that you're doing, while he's on behind center, offensive line hoping that they'll save his life while he's waiting all day long for y'all to get open so he doesn't get squashed.
This is your religious devotion, Max. Leadership matters when it comes to Ben Roethlisberger, but not Aaron Rodgers.
That is an actual excellent point, Will. I think there's something to it. I think players like Kobe Bryant have been accused of the same thing. Of course, Kobe Bryant had Phil Jackson, maybe the greatest coach ever, and Shaq and players like that to play with. And so even if he led from negativity in a way, he won 5 chips. I think if Rodgers was in a similar situation, he'd do a similar thing. But all that really argues to me is that the best could be even better. If Babe Ruth would have been a higher percentage base stealer, he'd have been even better. Rodgers is the best I've seen with my own eyes. That doesn't mean there's not room for improvement.
All right.